Please provide me with a list of 10 actions that I can take to complete each of those steps till you are moving your specific muscles. There should be 10 steps for each of those steps. There are a lot of questions that are implied by this, so let's start with the fact that yes, lawns will be able to respond to some of them up to a certain extent. However, they won't be able to produce muscle control down to the millisecond, let alone be able to produce it for you when you get up from your chair. However, they may be able to provide you with a plan up to a certain extent of distraction, but only if they have been trained to generate that kind of plan. Correct, they won't be able to prepare for circumstances that they have never faced before. Instead, they will essentially need to rerun the training program using the template they were trained on in a recent transmission onto the most recent version of Tesla's fully autonomous 12.3 system. Although the update's remarkable features have drawn a lot of attention, there is some concern about its midterm planning, particularly with regard to the 20 to 30 second range. Nevertheless, there may be hope soon, as Lex Fridman and Yan Lun discussed a potential solution in a recent interview, exploring the concept of VGA as a potential remedy to this issue. Before we move on, let's analyze this interview and see what we can learn. Be sure to focus on the following. Additionally, to subscribe buttons now. Let's get going. Despite its potential, the effective implementation of hierarchical planning in AI systems remains a challenge. VGA operates on the principle of hierarchical planning, which involves breaking complex tasks down into more manageable steps. For example, instead of planning every detail of a trip from New York City to Paris, one would establish broader objectives like reaching the airport and catching a flight, then further break these down into sub-goals like hailing a taxi and going through security. It's similar to figuring out a puzzle without all the components when using Tesla's fully autonomous. While 12.3 is an impressive technological achievement, its planning abilities should be strengthened. Perhaps VGA could be the answer. In a recent conversation, a professional emphasized the difficulties in coordinating multi-step activities, drawing comparisons to commonplace situations such as arranging a trip to Whistler, British Columbia, or traveling from New York to Paris. They highlight the difficulty of anticipating every aspect, particularly in the face of unforeseen circumstances like aircraft delays or strange surroundings after arriving, before moving on to the topic of autonomous driving. The expert described how Tesla's fully autonomous technology addresses both top-down and micro-level planning, using tools like Google Maps for route guidance and real-time awareness of surrounding obstacles. However, they identified a critical gap in the 20 to 30 second planning range where FSD currently falls short. Yan Lan explained that this is because industrial robots can perform repetitive tasks with precise planning, but human-operated vehicles cannot. In addition, they looked at how companies like Tesla and NVIDIA are approaching the problem of hierarchical planning, emphasizing the need for planning with varying degrees of abstraction to enable efficient task navigation by vehicles or humanoid robots. However, they also identified a significant challenge in bridging the gap between detailed real-time actions and high-level planning. The talk touched on the potential of language models to assist in task planning, recognizing their capacity to create plans based on training data. However, they emphasized the limitations of LNS in creating plans for tasks requiring complex physical actions or unfamiliar situations. Highlighting the value of hands-on education, the discussion covered a wide range of topics, including high-bandwidth learning and embodied artificial intelligence. The speaker delves into the idea of joint-embedded predictive architecture, suggesting its potential role in enhancing hierarchical planning. They expressed enthusiasm for embodied artificial intelligence and its potential to pave the way for more intelligent agents. The idea here revolves around the capabilities of large language models, but Yan believes that the transformer architecture, along with diffusion models, lacks a crucial element. Nevertheless, the focus remained on the necessity of advanced planning architectures like JDA for achieving effective hierarchical planning in autonomous systems. He contends that these architectures are in them. Moreover, the enormous amounts of data required for training are a barrier that Tesla is. Notions of the physical world that, in contrast to generative models, are comparable to how a baby learns by watching its parents, by drilling a hole in the video block and making predictions about what will happen in the masked out region without direct supervision. VIA operates on masked input videos and doesn't require fine-tuning. Yan highlights the significance of this strategy by saying that it keeps the model from depending on less efficient auto-regressive training. What are your thoughts on this new AI architecture? Will it lead to bullish testimonies for Tesla, even though many industry experts also think so, and you know who else has shares in Prot? Tesla optimism for Tesla bulls and those with a keen eye for finding the next stock market gem. It's not just about watching from the sidelines when it comes to the company's remarkable progress, according to our friends at Seeking Alpha. Seeking Alpha is your one-stop shop for the most recent Tesla information. Targets for Tesla stock price innovation from Tesla and all things Elon Musk. The ideal strategy is to seek alpha. Online news sources for Tesla avoid the negative coverage of the company by focusing only on the facts. To see what's really going on, click the link in the description to receive a special discount. There is a difference between generative AI and what this VGEA model with generative AI is demonstrating. In essence, you're asking the model to fill in the missing pixels. For example, if you had an octagonal stop sign and cut out a section, you would ask the AI to recreate the original image. However, this method is computationally expensive and goes against how people naturally interact with the world. People typically create an abstract representation of their surroundings rather than perceiving every detail. For example, if you're in your office, you might mentally map out where things are without having to recall every pixel. VGEA anticipates what's happening in video sections that have been hidden. It works in a latent space, a compressed version of reality, and is more concerned with comprehending the context than producing pixel, idealized depictions. The power of VGEA is found in its predictive architecture, which enables it to filter out unimportant data and concentrate on grasping the main ideas of a scene. This method, which forecasts what will happen in films, results in more effective training and a greater comprehension of the world. VGEA makes a more solid contribution to the advancement of machine intelligence. With this release, artificial intelligence takes a big step closer to understanding the world, in contrast to generative approaches, as comprehension is prioritized over replication, whereas generative models strive for pixel-perfect precision. In machine learning, VIPA aims to gain a deeper knowledge of the underlying concepts that are similar to how people intuitively see and describe their surroundings. Trying to recreate intricate scenes, it is difficult to recreate every element of a scene pixel by pixel. Instead, models like VIPA concentrate on grasping the general idea of the image, which enables more effective training and a deeper comprehension of how things interact in dynamic situations. A major step toward improving machine intelligence has been made with the release of VEPA to researchers under a Creative Commons non-commercial license. This allows for more investigation and development into comprehending the world and effectively completing challenging tasks like traveling to the airport or navigating through shifting traffic conditions. Similar to how a JEPA learns, VIA's non-generative approach makes predictions about the missing portions of a video in an abstract representation space. Compares abstract representations of images rather than the actual pixels. This flexibility enables it to eliminate unnecessary information, improving training efficiency by a factor of up to 6x. Furthermore, because it has been fully pre-trained using unlabeled data, it can adapt to a variety of tasks with little assistance from humans. According to Yan and Meta, self-supervised pre-training on the encoder and predictor components of the model could greatly improve the capabilities of systems like fully autonomous cars and humanoid robots. These systems don't need labeled data to build a solid grasp of the world. By training thin specialized layers on top of the frozen model, the frozen evaluation approach, where the encoder and predictor are fixed after pre-training, allows for effective adaptation to new tasks. This approach minimizes the computational resources needed for training in the context of fully autonomous vehicles and humanoid robots. This implies that these systems can focus on fine-tuning particular components for the task at hand, like image classification, action classification, or spatiotemporal action detection, rather than having to completely retrain them